Welcome to the Unleashed Life, where ambitious women take control of their mindset, money, and mastery. I'm your host, Dr. Renée Baker. Let's get unleashed. Hi, I'm Dr. Renée Baker, and this is the Unleashed Life, the podcast for bold thinkers, visionary leaders, and purpose-driven people who are done shrinking, done pretending, and ready to live in full alignment. Here, we talk about the things that matter: money, mindset, and mastery, and how to live with power, peace, and purpose. And today's guest brings her own mastery to the table. Lisa Griffin is a seasoned image consultant with more than 25 years of experience helping individuals redefine not just their style, but their presence. Her work is more than clothing. It's about confidence. It's about showing up fully, owning your worth, and using your image as a form of self expression and personal power. So, whether she's working with executives, entrepreneurs, or everyday leaders, it helps people step into the next level of who they are, starting with how they see themselves and how they present themselves to the world. So, if you've ever struggled with confidence, reinvention, or just simply feeling seen, this conversation is for you. And I am proud too, because even today, Lisa helped get me all together. So let's get into it. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. Renée. I'm excited to be here. Super excited.
After all the positive comments I get every time you style me, I just said, you know what, there is no way that I can't have Lisa on here because you help people show up. So people that are listening, if you see me, you're like, I like the way she's showing up. This is why, Lisa. So Lisa, you've been doing this work for over 2 decades, and you don't look like who knew you could start doing something like this in kindergarten? But tell us, what originally drew you to image consultant and to consulting, image consulting? And when did you realize it's more than what just is what people are wearing?
Well, so for decades, literally for decades, I struggled myself with insecurity, self-doubt, just wondering if I could fit in and if how I could show up, afraid to speak up in rooms, afraid to even when I go to a public restroom. I would go to the restroom, wash my hands, wouldn't even hold my head up and look at myself and check my makeup or anything in the mirror and walk out. So I struggled for years and years and years. And the one thing that I noticed, that anytime I put on something that looked good or made me feel good, or I just noticed a difference, my shoulders went back, my head went up, and that made a difference in how I carried myself the rest of the day or the rest of the evening or the rest of whatever. That was my key right there.
So that's hard to believe and see you now, but it also shows that there can be progress, right? Like a person can change, because you're right. You put on the right outfit, I don't care who you are, right? When you look good, you feel good. And
Amen.
that was a pivotal moment for you. So what made you say, we all always say we all have this moment where we're like, enough. I'm not, no more. This is it for me. What was that moment for you to just said, no, no more. I'm leveling up?
So through the pandemic, the COVID, that thing that we all went through and noticed, where we weren't going places and things were calming down and we were forced to pretty much sit still and stay home and stay inside. At that time, like you said, I have 25 years. I had been doing my image consulting, my styling in the background on the side, just for fun, helping out friends, just doing it here and there. And I said, because of COVID, and I had people that I knew lose their lives and not see dreams come true that they had planned on having come true, I said, no more am I going to wait. No more am I going to sit back and be afraid and say, well, I need some more training. Well, I need some more education. Well, I need some more money to do that, or I need to achieve this. Now is the time. If God gave me the breath to wake up, there's some goals that he wants me to accomplish. He gives us dreams. We ask for direction and we want to be able to do what we can do. And he puts those things in our path and we go, oh, no, that's not it. Not that way. Or it's not time right now. And we push those things away that he's putting right in our path. And it was at that time, that was the first time during COVID. I said, when this is over, I'm going. I'm running. I am running. The actual second time was literally after I decided to make my business an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working to speak to organizations and get clients and find clients. And Dr. Renée, for 18 straight months, I got no, or ghosted, as they say, by businesses, people, 18 months straight. And all of a sudden, my phone rang. I had an HR director that I've been talking to forever tell me she wants me to speak to 30 of her women.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm not ready to do this. And I had to tell myself, shut up and step up.
That's
And I did.
I love
Literally.
that.
And
And
I was just, and after I finished doing it, girl, I felt unleashed. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm, and it was literally the feel. I got chills right now.
I love saying
That was my unleashed moment right then. And I said, no more, girl, don't you shut up no more. Don't you sit back. You got all those no's to bring you to this yes. And then after that, there was someone who said, okay, I got my money right. I'm ready to meet with you. I need to revamp my style. Literally in 1 month, my income jumped. Oh my God, 25%.
oh my
The
goodness.
bookkeeper said, so Lisa, what were all those deposits that you made? That was my unleashed moment, dear. That was my unleashed moment. That was my revealed, my second unleashed moment. We go through periods.
That's right.
Those were 2 major ones. Yes.
Love that. I love that. I love that you said I had to tell myself to shut up and step up. Period. Like no more excuses. We're not going to also oftentimes the loudest voice that's stopping us is our own.
Girl.
So when you said no more excuses, no more, it's sometimes self sabotage is dressed up as preparation. Like no, we're gonna take it to the next level, and you did it.
Opportunity of a lifetime only lasts the life of the opportunity.
Okay, I love
Okay.
I love that, and just having that moment and recognize that sometimes also we'll wait, and I'm so glad that you didn't stop because you said for 18 months it was nothing, and then all of a sudden it just starts with one call and then level up, level up, level up.
That one. But if we stop too quick, we never get to that one that's going to start that cascade. And that's going to build that momentum. That rock is not going to roll down without somebody pushing it, something to get the momentum started.
So
and then we've got to work.
That's so real because a lot of times we just will give up with that thing that we've been searching for, praying for, and we're overthinking it's here, it's going to happen. And sometimes we just need a little bit of patience, some faith. But if God put it in you, it's there for a reason. And
Period.
in that moment you reclaimed your power essentially, and because you already had your style, you had your voice, you made the decision, but in that moment you reclaimed your power, would you say?
You got it right on. That's exactly, I reclaimed that power. I reclaimed that power. I woke up that power that was already inside. And you know how you watch everybody else? Oh, that's so good for her. God, I wish I could do that. That's so good. But we don't see the test in that testimony. We never see the test.
That
We
part.
see the ending results. And
That's
it's
real.
the test that we have to get through because then that builds our testimony and that builds our strength and that builds and fuels our own inner fire and our own inner power. And then watch out, girl, we unleashed.
Unleash. And
I love that unleash, girl. I love this unleash. It's so perfect. It is just so is appropriate to every single person, every single area of our lives. I love it.
thank you. And I love what you're saying about the test and the testimony, because we all have this test. This is like a master class in ministry mindset, motivation, all in one breath. And you are unleashing the power for all of us, because the truth that we often skip over is the test. In the testimony, we shout over the testimony, but like you said, we skip past the test, but we shout like, oh, we have a testimony, but we forget that we had to endure a test before we got to that testimony.
Yep. That test is preaching or mentoring or motivating others who are having their own struggles, that they can keep struggling, because it's not there always. We weren't created for the struggle forever. We are created for good.
That's right. And we have to get to, before
We
we get to the glory, we have to get through the grit. Like the grit and the glory are tied together.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. Yes, yes.
And I love that, and I appreciate what you're saying about unleash, because it did, like you said, we all have these moments of, just giving ourselves permission for the thing that we've been waiting for and tapping into the power that we already have. And we forget that sometimes, and that we have to unleash it. And I think that that's really related also to why image is such a powerful tool to unleash and build confidence, because most people forget that when we look good, we feel good, like you said. But what do you think most people get wrong around image and being so powerful for confidence?
Well, some people think, well, how I look doesn't matter, because if I've got it on the inside, then that's all that makes a difference.
Hmm.
But sometimes we fail to realize that people make a decision in the first 7 seconds that they meet you. No matter what you're doing, grocery shopping, going to the bank, no matter what you're doing, 7 seconds, you walk in the door, people decide if they're going to like you, if they're going to do business with you, if they're going to give you the money, if they're going to listen to you, if you're credible at all, if you do have any confidence. They make all these, we make them. We make them. We don't think we're making them, but we make them. And
Yes.
those 7 seconds are important. And believe it or not, those 7 seconds happen before you open your mouth. They are totally visual. We give visual cues, and that first cue comes from our clothing.
Wow.
Our clothes matter. Our clothing can open the door. It doesn't mean it has to be expensive clothing, but it makes a difference on how that clothing is styled to make you shine in your best light.
And that's so, I mean, that's interesting. You ever saw the trailer that says we listen and we don't judge. We're watching and we're judging. And that's such a golden nugget, because it's what you see before you even speak. And before you even say a word, you said that people already have an idea of who they think you are. So it's not about labels, you're saying. It's just about being intentional with your style and being strategic, I would say, even with it, is messaging.
Exactly. Strategy is key. And we live, no matter, I don't care what decade, what century it is, we live in an image conscious society, period.
Period.
We make opinions about the news people on TV. I mean, you name it, we make opinions. It's an image conscious society. And that same old thing sometimes still holds true. It's not what you know, but it's who you know. It's not who, and to get to who you know, they make a decision if you're going to know who you need to know to get to that next step, to get to that next level. It's image is everything. It truly is.
Image is everything, and we forget that sometimes when we think about image, we always think about style, and we think that is a price tag. But it's more about the message that what your image and how you show up conveys. And what I'm hearing from you is image is access. And in a way, it's an uncomfortable truth, because we don't want to acknowledge that we live in an image conscious society. But like you said, people form opinions in seconds about your look, your voice, and your vibe.
Yes, yes, yes. And the voice thing is a whole nother thing,
Mhm.
because we're in virtual reality, sometimes even just on the phone.
Right,
Nothing makes me sicker than I'm on the phone with a business and I can't understand what the person is saying on the other line, or they don't sound engaged in what I'm doing.
right, or
That
interested.
can lose business for people right then and there, just the voice. I always tell people, girl, I keep a mirror on my desk. So when I'm on the phone, the smile comes through.
Oh,
A
shows.
smile comes through. That image even goes to just your voice.
And I think
People decide.
people don't realize that. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because more often than not, we think, okay, image is just, okay, it's where we look. But you ever hear, like, I remember early in my career, I never wore makeup, right? Because, my mom really didn't wear makeup. It wasn't a world where you were being fresh if you had a makeup on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I remember looking too young, being on Wall Street, and this woman came to me and said, you look nice, but you don't look finished. And she said, just a little bit of a makeup. She said, you don't have to do too much. I was new to it. So she just said, just a little, right? Because nothing will change your image, but not, it wasn't finished, right? Because they can see you, but they couldn't see all of you. And even how I showed up a little bit different, that even changed how I started to show up even with more confidence. And it just started like with a little bit. So I often say image is also about alignment, right? How are you aligned from head to toe? So what do you say when you are helping clients just align with who they are internally with how they present externally and that striking that balance?
So, and that's a good point. The balance is key. And that alignment is a process. It's a
Mhm.
process. We start with a deep dial, what I call a style discovery, discovering exactly what your style is. Then together or collaboratively, we define what the brand is, what your brand is, what is that brand? And then from there, we access and we edit and look at your current wardrobe, that current closet, that wonderful magical room of that closet, whether it's a door or whatever. We look at that closet. And looking at that closet, I start from what's in there. We assess what needs to be in there, what needs to come out. And then what we do is I teach you the language of style. The language of style comes from there. And then we go on further, and I can't give away all my secrets
That's
right
right.
now, but we do go on further from there. But that's kind of how it gets started. That's how
So,
we align.
and then just in it's because there's a style clarity, I called it. It's like you get a line and it's not what you wear, it's just your brand is you become it. Like it is, you help people also get out of their comfort zone because I'll say for me, I was not wearing pants for anything. I was like, I am not wearing pants. Like I wear dresses. And you helped me see like there was power in wearing something different. So it was still aligned. And I will listen, y'all listen. I put that, I was like, I don't know. You were like, trust me. I said, okay, put that suit on, and I'm telling you, I try not to wear it too much because it's just so powerful. It's
But
just so
it looks so good.
powerful. But every time I wear what you style me in, it shows up, and it was completely against what I thought,
It does.
but it's aligned. It's wild.
happens that happens with a lot of my clients initially, just like you. It's in that dress room. You like, no, I don't know. Well, just put it on. Just put it on. I'm just asking you to put it on. It's not going to become a part of your body. You just put it on. If you don't like it, we take it off. And after you put it on, you were strutting like you didn't know what to do.
Sure
I
was.
was like, ooh, that nothing thrills me more than that. And that even happens to people with their stuff in their closet that they haven't worn. They bought it and they didn't put it on and they don't know why they bought it. They put it on and it's like, wow, that looks good on you. Let's put this here. Let's put that there. And they're like, oh my God.
That
But
is
it all aligns. And that alignment on the exterior does a job for the interior and the mind. And that mind, anytime you see, because you are in pictures in that doggone suit.
so
And anytime you are in that suit, it's like, look at her. Goodness gracious. And when you were taking the pictures for that, you were able to just put in that power came through those pictures. That photographer didn't have to tell you too much to do to pose for them pics.
that was
Just where
a
to lean and all of that stuff. That alignment piece, oh my goodness gracious.
that was a game changer. I was like, just put it on. The confidence was weighted, and I don't think I stopped shorting since. I don't think
That's it. It was waiting. Yep.
it was.
That's perfectly said. The confidence was waiting.
I
Yeah.
was like, I thought I had confidence before. I don't think I stopped since. And the real lesson too is just like, oh, just the clothes, right? Is the image, but it's also about giving yourself permission to be seen, to take up space and explore a new level of confidence you didn't even know you had. So we talk about getting unleashed. Lisa, you unleashed this beast. I was like, what? She ain't stopped
That beast
since.
was already in there. I didn't unleash her. I just gave her permission to come on out, girl. That was
Yes.
it. Because she was in there.
And that's something that I think sometimes people don't realize. Sometimes it's all in us. We have it. Everybody has it.
Everybody.
And sometimes people might feel disconnected from themselves. And when someone doesn't feel connected and that image is that style and they don't know where to start, what would you say to them when they are disconnected from themselves and they don't know where to start when it shows up in their closet or their image?
We sit down, whether we're on the phone virtually or person to person, take a breath, and I want you to tell me what your dream was, or what dream you have, what goal do you have of the person that you really want to be. Let's go back and think about that, right? Let's take 5 minutes, let's take 10 minutes, but I want you to tell me what that is. And
That's
sometimes we don't know, and it takes sitting down, breathing, and going back and thinking, oh yeah, I did want this and this, and I did want to move into that role, or I did want to start that business, or I did want to look and project myself well. I always wanted to have short hair, or I always wanted to add color to my hair. Those things all start coming out. Once we get all those things out, then we go ahead from there and we start connecting the dots. Because sometimes it's tons of words that describe that person that you thought you were. Who
yeah,
did you used to be that you want to show up with as now?
that's
That's
right.
how we get that's our path. That's how we start getting there. And then based on where you are, now we can plot that map on where to go to achieve that brand image of yourself, that dream, that goal that you had, that you let push back. And now we unleash that sucker right out.
And I love that. And you know, oftentimes we'll have these dreams and this vision of who we want to be, and we don't think it's possible, or we shrink. Like, who were you before the world told you who you were supposed to be? Who did you want to be before somebody else told you who you couldn't be? And once we get all those thoughts out, like you said, well, even if it's messy and it's uncomfortable, those dots start to connect and you start to make the vision more tangible so the image can show out. And you're like, show up and show out, let it out.
Let it out. Let it out.
And I love that because that's when you really start to step into your power. And a lot of the things that I talk about, I talk about money and I talk about mindset and even professional presence. And I met you after I left corporate and I was beginning my entrepreneurial journey. And I'd always talked about, money and mindset. And when it comes to mindset, how we present ourselves also could impact how we earn, how we're perceived, and how we move the room when we walk in. Because sometimes you walk into that room and they're like, who is that? How do you connect the dots for that for people who just need to make that mindset shift because there's still value and worth in even in our image.
So, what a lot of times people have these blocks that they've set up in their mind, period.
Mhm.
And some of those blocks that I have learned, most people think, well, I can't afford to be able to look and dress nicely. I don't have the time to be able to do all that makeup or do
Right.
all that to myself. Or I need comfort. I must have comfort. And if you're going to look good, you can't have comfort. These are and people think that, well, I'm a comfort person. Well, girl, you can be gorgeous and you can be fly and be comfortable as can be. These are all mental mindsets that we put on ourselves. Mental roadblocks that we put in our
Right.
mind, and those are excuses that we've set and created ourselves as to why we cannot unleash the power from within. Those are things that we set up. It
And
doesn't You do not have to shop on Rodeo Drive to have a nice image.
no,
You
and
do
you
not.
don't have to be uncomfortable. I love me some heels, and I love me some heels, but I'm comfort. Like I'm not walking around uncomfortable. And sometimes people will say, "Well, I don't know how you do it, girl." Like I'm like because I'm not uncomfortable. I like to think I'm fabulously comfortable. And then sometimes I have to be, sometimes I'll take one for the team, no pay, no gain. Sometimes I have to.
Mhm.
Like and I choose when I need to do that. But for the most part, I stay in heels and they're comfortable.
Ditto. I love my heels too. And sometimes we take on what others may think, like that comment when people say, well, you know what, maybe I won't wear those that because I don't want to wear those heels and they're going to talk about me in those heels, or they're going to think a certain way. I used to be that all the time. Would
Right.
dress to make other people feel comfortable. We
Mhm.
don't do that as unleashed people. We don't do that. No, because we can't unleash ourselves. We can't unleash that inner diva. We can't unleash that powerful presence out there. We can't do that. So we have, If heels are comfortable for you, wear heels. If they're not, don't. But there are ways to make heels comfortable too. There's always, you just try on stuff. I mean, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and then one of the things that you taught me is that comfort and confidence are not opposites, they can be partners, right? So
Exactly.
the fact is you can still be confident, you can still be comfortable, you can still be fabulous, but it's about finding what works for you, and don't get it twisted. You don't have to choose. You can have both. You choose when you want to sacrifice it because sometimes you still do. They're not opposites, they're partners.
That's a good point. Very, very good part. It's a partnership. It's a partnership. It's a collaboration. Yes, exactly. And you sit at the seat to control that.
Right.
We sit at the seat to control our own personal style. We do. No one controls it for us. No one. No one. No one. No one. There may be a dress code. Yes.
That's
There
it.
may be a dress code policy that we have to follow, which may limit some things that we might want to do in our own personal style for that dress code, but we can still show up as our own authentic self, dressed professionally, meeting the dress code policies wherever we need to be.
Yeah, I love that you said that we get to choose. I mean, I think that there's so many rules people hear and they forget that we control the canvas, right? Like we can style within the lines of what we choose. Nobody controls our presence but us. We control our image. And it's not a and even a dress code, it's not a muzzle, it's just trying to give you some boundaries, some way that you can still show up as you, have your polish, your personality, and still get your little flavor, but just give yourself some boundaries. Because sometimes I think that I used to think that too, like, okay, well, this is the only way, but no, we get to decide, and I love that you say that.
And that's important for us to know that, because back in the day when I remember coming out of going, I was in college at Tuskegee at a career thing, and I remember General Motors was in the house, and I had fluffy curly hair, and the one lady that was interviewing me, she goes, "One tip for the rest of your interviews, I need you to pull your hair back into a bun because it shows that you are serious about your career. When your hair is out and curly, like that means that you're not serious." No, she was absolutely 100% wrong.
Right.
And the sad thing is that some people take that from, and girl, that was 30 years ago.
And
And
it was
some of us still live with that stuff today.
yep.
We still live with those things today. And we have got to wake up, find our own self, unleash her,
That's right.
and get out there and be confident and step into our power. Period.
That's right.
Period.
We'll let the it's so interesting if you think about it. I had a similar had so I was working at a firm in Wall Street, and we had a woman came in, and I don't know what was going on, but they had this woman come in and give us image consulting, and then unlike what you're saying, where you're kind of looking at the person and making it about them, it was this very blanket statement. And at the time, I had on boots. I had on like knee high boots. It was wintertime. I had on my suit, but I wore my boots. And in between, it was just like a little bit of space between my boots and my skirt, the hem of my skirt, right? It was a longer skirt, my little bit of boots, a little bit of space. And I wanted my personality. So I had put in fishnets. It was a design, like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it was a little bit of a design, but it was a little bit of personality because I had on a blue suit, like, some neutral boots. Like I just needed a little bit of personality. And she called out those stockings and said, like, it was, what did she say? I think she said it was like, I don't even know if I can say it. Workers, people, professional workers
Yes,
would wear that. And Lisa sitting up front, right? Like, because I'm
she
like,
went it. She was from the front of the class. She was from the front and telling you out in
it
front of everybody.
was me and an executive, another executive the other executive had on the whole, like, she had more of her legs were showing. I just had like a little bit. I will tell you, I have never worn patterned stockings again.
Really? Oh.
Live in Florida, I don't need to. But it is so interesting to your
And
that we'll
we,
hear one thing and it
we
will
internalize it.
define us and we will internalize it. I was so embarrassed. I took those off and never again. Not one time afterwards. And that was a long time ago. So yeah, so that is what I've been yeah. So I got to tell you, that's something that women or people, we got to stop those voices in our heads. I
Exactly.
that you said that. So when it comes to thinking about that and building on it, oftentimes we might undervalue the role of image when it comes to personal and professional success because we've heard like success is just one way, like you only can do it, but it's not linear. So when you're thinking about style, right, personally, professionally, do you believe that people undervalue the role of image when it comes to that and why it's important?
I don't, how do I say this? So I don't think people undervalue it. I
Mhm.
think people misunderstand it.
Oh, okay.
I really think people misunderstand it at times. It's taking a shift and turning around. One of the shows that inspired me years ago was, isn't that what is it, What Not to Wear?
Okay. Yeah.
Stacey and Clinton. And so now they have reinvented that show now.
Oh, okay. I didn't
They
really
have it on Amazon, and it's literally called "Wear the F What You Want."
have changed.
It literally, that's the name of the show. That is the name of the show.
I
And
love
I've watched like 3 episodes. And what I love seeing it from how it was then, they told you what you could not wear. You can't do this. No, that's not this image. And now it has shifted to tell me what your fashion fantasy is. And then they work to mold and help them. And it's exactly what I do as well. Help them to take that image, that fashion, that fantasy image of how they want to be and show up in the world, and help that to marry how they are now today and what life is like right now. Like
I
somebody said he was a punk rocker in his real life. Well, he isn't that. He doesn't do that. But they dressed him up, let him dress up just like that and everything, and then introduce someone to come in and say, "Oh my God, who is there? Who lives in their wife or whoever that might be?"
oh my
And
god.
say, "Well, yeah, I see you as that, but I see it toned down. I see you doing this, this, and that." And they show them how to marry the image, which is what their dream image is or what they have always wanted to. One person, she wanted to be, oh God, Cookie Lyons from the show. I
From
forget what it was.
What is that? Is that Power?
What? No, I can't
It's
think of
something.
what it
I
is.
know who it is, but oh yeah.
Yes, it was that. Yes. And she had been through cancer, deaths, all kinds of stuff. And they dressed her, let her dress her up, herself up that way. But then she learned how to tone that down to meet her everyday life and what she is, but still show the powerful woman that she wanted to project.
I love that because we're not style used to be about fitting in and fitting a certain mode, like a
Exactly.
mold. And now we are saying, you know what, we're standing up, we're gonna wear what the F we wanna wear,
Yes.
and we're giving ourselves permission to take up space and be who we want to be. We're not controlling anyone. We're letting people celebrate being themselves.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That is exactly it.
Like, yeah, I love that because I mean, well, we live in Florida, so it's like I had on white. Remember, you couldn't wear white after Labor Day. So I
That's
said, you
still
know
hard
what?
to
I'm
do.
gonna wear this white dress. I'm gonna pop it with some pink because I feel like it. I felt like it, and I did, and nobody said anything. They might have, but I didn't care because I looked
You don't,
good.
there's the important part. They might say it, oh well, talk, talk, talk. I don't care.
They said it to me. Yeah. Like, we gonna wear what we want, and it's about just stepping into our own power. And I love that we can be intentional about ownership of who we are. And it is
Hmm.
a shift, it's a change. And it's how we can command space without saying a word. Like we can command and take up space without saying a word through our image.
Period. That is exactly it. Without saying a word.
I love that. And when I started stepping into like, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I want to be. And it really transformed even like I said, I thought I was confident before. Now you can't tell me nothing. So you've helped so many people transform their confidence. And you're talking about unleashing that. But when you think about you, right, and how you've helped so many people, how what does an unleashed life look like for you right now? And how do you continue just to evolve as a person?
So I'm human just like everybody else. And I told you, I come from a place of self doubt. I had it forever, for decades and decades. And every single day, trust me, I have to make a choice if I'm going to show up for me every single day, because it's just easier to not put ourselves out there. It's
Right.
easier to not pick up the phone and ask. So, for instance, when I met you, that was huge for me because I'm like, look at that sharp woman up there on that stage. I mean, you were sharp, still are. And I'm like, oh my God, I have got to meet her. I need to go meet her. And it took me a minute. I kept saying no. And people were all around you, talking to you, and they were around you and around you. And I just stood and I waited till I could get to you. And I did. And that was huge. If you don't know how that was so huge for me. It was so huge for me. And we all have those moments where we think that others are so larger than life and we can't say anything, not even just hello or just a compliment or something like that. Me, because I love to compliment people. I love to compliment women when they look good. And my husband says, you always got to tell somebody what you love about them. I said, and why not? Because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
It puts a pep in their step the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It truly, truly does. So for me, every day, I have to give myself permission. I literally have to tell that little girl to shut up, get on up, and step out. Because I was going to say no to this podcast. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
I'd have called you. Like, no, are you saying no? I know, because like you said, sometimes we think people are larger than life, but we have to remind ourselves, so are we.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. No, and so we all need to wake up. I mean, we don't, because some days, some people don't get to wake up.
That's real.
And we have to look at every single day as a gift
That's
and live it to the fullest that we can possibly live it. It was pouring down rain early this morning. I thought it was going to rain all day. But look at it now, the sun is shining.
comes out. It always does.
Always, the sun always comes out. We needed the rain, for goodness sakes.
And I
So
need
we have got
to
to
show up.
internally tell ourselves, step up and step out. Step up and show out.
That's
Just step
real.
up and be unleashed and be all that you've been created to be.
And I'm so glad that you did. And I'll
I
never
am too.
forget that day that I mean, I'll never forget that moment. And I'm so glad you did because you changed my life and you
Thank you.
helped me like show up even bolder. And I don't know, the world might not be ready, but thank Lisa. When you see me wearing pantsuits, it's because Lisa was like, "No, you got this, girl." And I'm so glad that you did because and you stepping up and stepping out, you helped me step up and step out. And it was a shift in a mindset. We both, like for both of us, like it was a risk. I was like, okay, let's see. For you, it's like, okay, we're going to shift, we're going to make a bold decision. And all those bold decisions could change everything for us. We just step into it. So you contacted me, but what about people who want to contact you who are ready to step into their power and really are ready to take their image to the next level like you helped me do?
It's a matter of a email or a phone call. You can hit me up at my website, Lisa. I'm sorry, my email is Lisa at LMG Image Consulting. That's my email. My website is LMG Image Consulting.
And we'll put that in the show notes with all of your information so that when people are ready to, unleash their image and really step into their power with purpose, on purpose. Listen,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, you changed my life. Listen, that's why you were getting on this show. I was like, people need to know when they see me. This is Lisa. Thank you. And what I have to say is, what I've done is, even doing this show and doing this is me coming out of my comfort zone in a big way. And what I've asked the guests to do this season is have, their unleash moment. And they think about a defining point in their life where you chose to stop hiding, stop holding back, and step into who you were becoming. So, what was that thing for you? You've shared a little bit, but was there another, like, is there some other unleash moment that you can leave the guests with?
The unleashed moment. And like I said, there's so many. But one that I can leave the guest with is, oh, well, yeah. Oh, boy. That is so many. It really is. But one that
For the guest, for the next guest, for all those people that are listening, like, what is that thing for you, Lisa?
that thing for me is the moment, I was meeting with a coach one time,
Mm-hmm.
a business coach who was helping me in coaching my business. And I was loving all the information that I was getting. And it's all powerful for me. However, once I stopped that coaching, actually by the direction of my child who is grown, but she's like, Mama, you don't need that. So anyway, I stopped. And unbeknownst to me, God opened another door through empowerment. Empowerment.
Yes.
Yeah. And so right now I'm in the Entrepreneur Academy.
Amazing.
And I know. And I have learned so many different ways to show up, to be able to introduce myself.
Mhm.
I've been challenged to walk up to powerful women, women that I think are so powerful, and introduce myself and my services. And it has expanded my business in more ways than one.
I love that. I love that. And we're going to have Amy's going to be a guest on this season. So we'll hear more about empowerment. But it's a beautiful testimony of, one, divine redirection, right? Alignment
Exactly.
and personal growth, and having these type of full circle moments and trusting time and listening. Sometimes we got to listen through whether ourselves or hearing it. If we don't hear it ourselves, God will have somebody else show up and start walking boldly through those doors, because success, everything we want is usually on the other side.
Literally on the other side, but it's on the other side, which means we have to take effort to get to the other side. It's not going to move to us. We've got to move to it. We've got to take action.
That's right. We have to take action, and it just
Have to take action.
decision. I love this, Lisa. I appreciate you in so many different ways. And for those that are listening, in this episode, if Lisa has inspired you, if this conversation has given you permission to push yourself, to change your perspective, to own your image, your confidence, and your next chapter, don't keep it to yourself. As we wrap up this episode of The Unleashed Life, I want you to start thinking about how you could share this message. And just like Lisa changed my life, maybe you can help change someone else's life. So listen, share it, tag it to someone who needs it, subscribe and leave a review, because this message that Lisa shared today is meant to move. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be fabulously aligned and create and show up in the life that you've dreamed of. So this is not about waiting. You don't need to wait. This is about you taking action. As Lisa said, take action, stay bold, stay true, and remember, the best is yet to come. We just have to decide. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on The Unleashed Life. I hope today's episode has inspired you to break free from financial constraints and societal expectations, cultivating a mindset of abundance and possibility. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and join our vibrant online community to share your own unleashed moments and connect with like-minded individuals. Until next time, keep breaking barriers, embrace your beautiful, authentic self, and live life unleashed.